Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Claire, aka Smurfygurly, and I thought I would bring you up to my fragrance collection. It's a little bit messy. The shelves have not been cleaned for a while. I'm not going to do all of that on camera, I can't be asked. But what we're here for is to decide what fragrances are going to be on the chopping block, because I have added a few new perfumes very recently to my collection, and it was never my intention to grow my collection. I want to reduce it, if anything. And so there's a few fragrances here that I've held on to, not because I'm using them, but more out of a sense of loyalty to the brand in some instances, or for reference. I don't know, some things I don't want to part with for sentimental reasons, but ultimately I just don't need this many perfumes. So these are all my full bottles, although there are 2 hair mists in there. And I am going to choose on this video some fragrances to put on the chopping block. So they're not necessarily going to be decluttered, but they really need to be worn and a decision needs to be made. Over the back here is all the Teone Reinthal fragrances. I'm not going to talk about every single individual fragrance because it would obviously take far too long. Okay then, so I have off camera picked out 9 fragrances to go on the chopping block. I didn't have an amount in mind. I just wanted to go through them and pick out fragrances that weren't getting worn, that potentially I could consider decluttering. And this is not to say these fragrances will end up getting decluttered, but they need to be worn, and then I can make that decision because they're just not getting any love. One thing to note that is interesting is not any Chanel has made it into this cut, so I am still absolutely loving and wearing every single Chanel perfume that I have, and you saw what I have on the video clip before this. So still really loving Chanel, and I think also what this selection tells you is that I'm just not feeling the really big, bold fragrances, the more unusual, the less versatile. Obviously by being less versatile they don't get as much wear anyway, but in reality I can wear whatever I want most of the time because I am at home a lot. I work from home quite a lot, and I generally don't do much, particularly this time of the year. I'm not a big fan of leaving the house, so I can really wear the weirdest and wildest fragrances. That is a new word. It means crazy fragrances. I can wear the weirdest and the wildest fragrances that I want. However, my nose, myself, is just craving the more easygoing stuff, the lighter stuff. Than I don't really want the big, bad, bold stuff. And so most of this is I'd say, is it all indie? Almost all indie, bar one. So there you go. Now, there is no offence meant to any of the perfumers that created these perfumes. They are beautiful perfumes. Whether I get rid of them or whether I keep them, I honestly, hand on heart, tell you that these are really, really good fragrances, but for whatever reason I haven't been reaching for them that much, or if at all. So I'll tell you what, we will start with the designer one, and very, very new to my collection, and I don't think I'm going to get rid of it, but this is Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet, the current formulation. I talked about it when I got it maybe a month or so ago, and I did say in that video that I feel like it's maybe more of a lust than a love, because it is very sweet, kind of, you know, it is generic department store fragrance, quite a young, youthful, fruity floral scent. Not as classy and refined as the majority of my Chanel perfumes. So this is I actually don't know exactly what's in here, but my guess here is it's white florals and rose, maybe a touch of patchouli, which I'd never picked up on before. But however, smelling it from the bottle, I feel like I'm getting a little bit of patchouli, but it's not a fruituli by any means. Sweet and sort of sugary, vanillic, but very, very bright. Like lots of, I don't know if there's a lot of citrus in here, but very bright, fruity kind of fragrance. Fruity floral. And the weird thing is, I said I was in lust with it, maybe, not so much love. And yeah, I mean, since I've had it, I don't think I might have worn it once, and that's it. It's like, I've got it now, and then I just kind of like forgot about it. So that's not great. That is a symptom of this hobby. I think many people do this. You get obsessed about a fragrance, have to have it, and then as soon as you've got it, you forget about it and move on to the next thing. I have kind of done that. And so this is going to get some wears. I've decided I want to wear everything at least twice before I make my decision. Unless I wear it once and just think I really can't wear this again, and in which case the decision is made. But yes, I'm going to give this a good couple of wearings, and I kind of hope it will stay. Hope it's one of those guilty pleasure type perfumes, and I did wear it to bed the other night on one arm, but then I fell asleep pretty much straight away and forgot about it. So okay, now let's move on to the indies. I remember, I think it was last year, it's at least a year ago, maybe slightly longer, but it was definitely winter time. I really wanted this for quite a while actually. So I finally found a really good deal. I decided that I needed a good deal before I would buy it. It's Fils de Joie. It's a very rich, jammy jasmine. I feel like I get rose from it. It's not a listed note, but to me it's a jammy rose and jasmine with incense, and it's really rich and kind of gothic. Not the most changeable perfume, a little bit on the linear side. Very strong at first, but actually not overpowering once it settles down. Not a beast mode, not obnoxious, none of those nasty aroma chemicals that make it sort of like project and last forever, but still a really good performer. But it's kind of you have to be in the right mood, because it does have this really rich gothic-y feel about it, and it's sweet, but not in an added vanilla or sugar kind of way. It's like the florals themselves are very sweet, but it's not a very sweet perfume. It's not a gourmand by any accounts. It is a floral, to me it's a floral incense. Maybe there's amber in here mixing in. I think there is barely any notes listed. There might be a honey note. It might be the honey note that brings that sweetness. So honeyed florals, but very rich and gothic, and you know, you just imagine them dripping, floral petals dripping with blood, but not that it smells of blood, but just that really gothic-y feel, like this is how a sexy witch might smell. And because of that, it just doesn't feel like something I would reach for that often. Even though it smells amazing, when I smell it like this, I just think, wow. And I understand why I really craved it and why I had to have the bottle. So I can't see me getting rid of it, but it definitely at least needs to be worn. So that is on the list. Now this might surprise you because I absolutely love this fragrance brand, house, whatever you want to say, Papillon, and this one is Bengale Rouge. And the only reason I'm thinking of letting this one go is simply because it's very sweet and rich again, and I just don't feel myself reaching for these kind of fragrances. The opening to me is like a honey, it feels like a honey and lemon, very rich, very syrupy. The dry down is amazing. That's when sort of like this almost caramelized, powdery, I don't know, just, yeah, like slightly caramelized, not sugar, but I don't, it's been so long since I've worn it. It has this almost suede-like texture in the dry down that is on that, yeah, sweeter side, but not too sweet. It's got some rose in it, it's got some sandalwood in it. I think that probably brings like this creaminess to it. The dry down for me was I always remember loving the dry down. I remember the first time I sampled it and I didn't love the opening, but then when it got to the dry down, I was like, oh my God, I have got to have this. It was just so opulent, so special, and that's the reason I bought it. And I still kind of stand by the fact that, yeah, I don't love the opening of this because maybe that honey's a bit too prominent and I'm not the biggest fan of honey. I need it to be quite subtle for me to enjoy it. And I think that, yeah, that's probably why, because of the opening isn't a love for me, I tend not to wear it. And also just because it is so rich and sweet, and as I said before, I tend to like my lighter fragrances these days. Another perfumer that I absolutely adore, her work is stunning, is Teone Reinthal. And this is Jacques, one of the best vanilla perfumes that I've probably ever owned. This was Teone's homage to Guerlain's Shalimar. Of course, Teone works only with naturals and she doesn't do dupes, but she was challenged by someone to create a Shalimar all natural, and this is the result, and it is a beautiful. It doesn't have the harshness of the citrus note in Shalimar. I always found that the citrus in Shalimar, that bergamot, which is almost lemon-like, is so bitey, but it is not in here. And the dry down is Guerlain, but all natural, soft and lovely, with just the most beautiful vanilla. Teone's vanillas are out of this world. This is so beautiful, powdery. I think there's iris in here, decadent, and of course all natural. Very, very, very special fragrance. And for some reason I just don't reach for it, and I can't really explain why. And so I need to put this one on the chopping block and make that final decision, because I have so many really, really amazing Teone Reinthal perfumes. But I think because they are all natural and because they are so special, that I just tend not to reach for them on the everyday. And as I said, I don't do that much special stuff. So, I mean, yeah, I know I should just wear them, but it's so easy to throw on a Chanel. I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, Jacques is going on that chopping block. And now we have this one. This is Dendera by Centauri. So Peter from Fragrance View, the YouTube channel. This is his perfume. He created the brand himself. He's created all the perfumes himself. He's self-taught perfumer. This one uses quite a lot of naturals. He has different lines within his line. The blue bottles are mostly synthetic. The reds are, I think, more on the natural side. This one, I always remember the compliment I got from this. I was in Madeira and I got an Uber and I'd just eaten pizza and I'd eaten quite a lot of their garlic oil as well with the pizza, because they had this amazing, like, they obviously made it in-house, this oil with chopped up garlic. Absolutely stunning, but I was a greedy pig with it, and I was really conscious when I left the restaurant at how badly of garlic I must smell. And then I got in the Uber and the Uber driver was like, what are you wearing? It smells amazing. And of course it was this one. It's Dendera. This is, it's like this, the imagined smell of Egypt. And it is based on, I think Dendera was a sacred place, or a place within a sacred place in Egypt, I think. And yeah, so it's spicy, it's woody, a little bit ambery, there's a touch of rose, quite a dry, but not on that dry aroma chemical side of things, much more natural feeling, woody and spicy, but wearable for a man or a woman. I suspect men will prefer it over women generally, but I find it completely wearable, but I haven't worn it in a long time. And again, I think it's because it's quite a big powerhouse of a fragrance, and also it's not my typical, like, I gravitate towards white florals with a little bit of vanilla or incense or something, you know, that's just my thing, like, and this isn't that, so that's probably why I just haven't thought to wear it. But it does smell really good, very exotic. and almost yeah, almost like all the resins and maybe even a touch of leather or something in there, but it's beautiful. It's just it's just not that versatile to me, so that's why it's on the chopping block. There's not a great deal left, so I have really made a decent dent, although I might have decanted some of this for people, so that might be why that might be why there's not that much left, because I don't think I've worn that much. So yeah, Dendera. Oh, there is another designer. It's another Miss Dior. This one is the Le Parfum, which is long discontinued. This is a very rich and vintagey type scent. It's an amber floral, but it has this, I don't know if it's aldehydes. It could be lots of aldehydes, but they're sticking to the amber. So it's very sticky, aldehydic, ambery floral scent. Very, very, makes you feel very put together when you wear it. Very much a going out, dressed up kind of fragrance, which again, I'm not really doing. I think since I stopped drinking, now this is another factor, and it's actually affected my clothing wardrobe as well as my fragrances that I choose, because I don't drink anymore and Pete doesn't drink either, so we tend not to go out at night, and we do occasionally go out to a restaurant at night, but most of the time, especially in the winter, most of the time we chill indoors. And when we go out during the day. We go and we have lovely days out, go out to the coast, go out to explore different, you know, things around sort of the local area, and go out for lunch, all of that. But that changes how I dress myself. Obviously I don't really dress up that much anymore, and I don't really wear dressed up perfumes, hardly ever. So this is a really dressed up perfume, hence it just doesn't really get the wearing that it deserves. It is a beautiful fragrance. It's not going to be for everyone because it does have this vintage feel, which is hard to put my finger on, but yeah, the best way I can describe it is a big heavy aldehyde dose mixed in with the base sticky ambery notes. So yeah, that one is Miss Dior Le Parfum, a really beautiful fragrance, and I think I've kept it because when I do wear it, it feels very, very special, and maybe for reference, and also because I know that it's discontinued and kind of difficult to get hold of. This one here is from One Way Bridge Perfumes. It's called Date with a Dame, a very musky floral perfume. When I first got it, I was absolutely in love. There's something about it that makes me think of maybe somewhere along the lines of going back to maybe the 80s/90s, big TV sets, you know, the big ones. It used to give off a certain smell from the back, and also that new car smell. But I am going back to, because the only time I smelled new car smell really was my dad used to get a company car for his job, and occasionally we'd get a new car, and the smell of the car, not leather, no, it wasn't a you know, an executive type job. He went and fixed things, so he had a company car, software engineer. Initially he was a TV engineer, and then he was a software engineer. So he got a basic, like a Ford, I can't remember, not Fiesta, the next size up, like probably Escorts most of the time, and not leather. So we're not talking leather. I think we've already established that now. But I get this, yeah, this like static smell, this dusty smell. There is definitely floral in there, a beautiful muskiness about it. But I don't know why I just haven't worn it hardly. I've had it for years, and I have not worn that much of it. So it's gorgeous, but I don't feel like wearing it. So it's going on the chopping block, and we will see. And no disrespect to One Way Bridge Perfumes, if you go back and watch my videos, what Elise does is amazing. She works with really interesting materials that she sources in New Zealand. You just don't see these. When you see her note listings, there's these plants and things you've never even heard of, and you look them up and it's actually quite difficult to find out about them. So she works with amazing materials, and she makes really beautiful, unique fragrances that are clearly indie fragrances. And this one, I love the muskiness of it. and the mix of florals, but I'm just not 100% sure these days about the connotations I have in my head about the 80s and 90s. Yeah, TVs in new cars and stuff. I mean, it's nostalgic though, so that's a good thing. This one I was really umming and ahhing about putting in. I went crazy for Bukhara when it first came out. I got a sample. I was kindly sent the sample from Nick from Gallivant, and then I purchased a bottle, and I still think this is an amazing perfume. It has a note in it of silk, and I actually picked up on it without knowing that there was a silk note, because it reminded me of a silk coat that I had bought many years prior. It had this strange sort of smell to it, and in the end I actually couldn't tolerate the smell of the coat because it was so much, and I had to take it back. But this reminds me of that, but it's not overwhelming. Oh my god, it's so bloody good. So this is great because I might just completely fall back in love with this and start wearing it again. And the great thing is it's only a little bottle, you know, it's a 30ml, and that's all that's left here. It's jasmine, musk and silk. The jasmine is sort of tamed, it's not too, you know, jasmine can sometimes be almost sharp, almost screechy. It doesn't do that. It doesn't have that raw edge. Sometimes jasmine, if there's a natural jasmine, can sometimes smell a bit raw and unfinished, or it can overtake a perfume. It doesn't happen in here. I think everything is tamed by the musky silkiness of it all. It's a little bit spicy as well. Bukhara is a country that has a silk road running through it, so it's all about those goods that were traded sort of years and years ago, the silks, you know, all the other fabrics, the spices, that kind of thing. And yeah, it is a beautiful fragrance, very evocative, very unusual. It's not something I could compare it anything else to. So yeah, that's going on the chopping block, but after just smelling it now, I suspect that it's going to get you know, a renewed love. Okay, and the last one is an Ikiryo fragrance, Dreamhouse Ikiryo, and this one's called AnnWyn. AnnWyn is the passion fruit, is it passion fruit or passion flower or both? I'm not sure. White chocolate and musk perfume. This is a bit more than half a bottle left. I smell coconut in here. Apparently there is no coconut in here, or nothing that's supposed to smell like coconut, but I get quite a lot of coconut from it. Coconut. Would I say it smells like passion fruit? I don't know, because I don't know that I think I've had passion fruit when it's like been put, a little bit of the juice and the pips are put on a dessert, like is it a jus? I don't know passion fruit well enough. It's not something I ever buy in the supermarket, even if it's available, I don't know. But it's that tropical fruitiness that could be guava, could be fresh passion fruit, something like that. It definitely has a tropical fruitiness, a floralness, very powdery. I feel like there's quite a strong coconut, very powdery and musky, and then the white chocolate note. Yeah, you can kind of see it, but it's in the background and mixing in. Just, you'd probably, if you were guessing notes, you'd probably say vanilla, but powdery. Really nice. I have got through quite a lot of it. Nice tropical sort of summery type scent. Excellent longevity. The only thing that I can say about it that's negative, and it's not really negative, it depends on your perspective, is it's quite linear. I mean, it has stages, like the very opening stage is a lot brighter than the dry down, but generally speaking it's not particularly changeable perfume. And for me, when it comes to sweeter fragrances like this, I need them to not be linear. That's my preference, because they can start to just feel really like they really dull my senses. They kind of bore me because they just don't do anything. And this fragrance is absolutely beautiful. When I smell it like this, I think, wow, this is amazing. You know, I kind of want to wear it now. It's so good. But then over time, it's like, is it going to do anything else? Like, this is starting to just, yeah, it's just not exciting me anymore. So that's the reason this one's on the chopping block. I did actually wear this quite recently because I was deciding whether I wanted to declutter it, and I actually did put this one in a Facebook group, probably had the price a bit too high, but now I am gonna retest it with this lot and see how I feel about it, because I wasn't convinced that I really wanted to get rid of it. So we're going to give it at least one more go, if not two, and see how I feel after that. So that is it. I will probably come back with another video giving you an update on what made the cut and what has been or is being chopped. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that lovely stuff. Bye.